Today we're going to look at a sneaky test prep strategy that I call pick a number. They'll never teach you this one in school. The idea is about putting in a temporary selection of a number for a variable or something in the problem and seeing if it can lead you to the right answer, even if you're not exactly sure how to do a problem. Let's take a look. Today's problem comes from page 799 of the official College Board SAT Guidebook, 2nd edition, but it could have equally come from a GRE or GMAT exam. The challenge was they only gave us this one angle, 30 degrees. Looking carefully here, we see a triangle, and we don't know how to figure out either of these two angles. Most people do know that the sum of the three angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. How could I use that? Well, let's subtract the known angle of 30, and that leaves 150 degrees for the sum of these two angles together. Suppose for a moment we make a temporary assumption that these two are equal, and thus I'll pick the numbers 75 and 75 for those two angles. That's my picking a number strategy. Once I've made that assumption, I can find out angle y down here because these two angles on a straight line also sum to 180, and therefore y would equal 180 minus 75, or 105 degrees. By the same token, x up here is also on a line with 75, and its degree measure would equal 180 minus 75, also 105. Let's look what they asked for. X plus y, 105, plus 105, 210, matching answer choice D, and there's my answer, 210 degrees. A moment ago we saw a sneaky way to do this problem by putting in a number here and here that makes the sum of these three angles equal to 180. Now let's look at the official algebraic method, and you'll have two ways of solving this problem. Take a look down here, and the basic rule is the two angles forming a straight line sum to 180. If this one can be represented by y, the one adjacent to it therefore would be 180 minus y. By the same token, this angle up here would be represented by 180 minus x, and that would guarantee the two angles on a straight line sum to 180 degrees. Once I filled those in, I have all three angles within the triangle labeled, and I could set the sum of those three equal to 180 degrees by the triangle sum theorem. That would mean that the 180 minus x plus the 180 minus y plus the 30 that we were given must equal 180. On the left-hand side, combine your three like terms. 180 and 180, 360 plus 30 more, 390, minus x minus y is still equal to 180. Next, I'll subtract 390 from both sides to get all the constants together on the right, which allows me to combine the like terms, 180 minus 390. I recommend doing that on your calculator, negative 210. And on the left side, we still have negative x minus y. From here, simply take the whole equation times negative 1, and we will change all the signs to get positive x plus y equals a positive 210. Notice that answers the question, what is x plus y? 210, letter D. The problem at hand comes from page 969 in the official SAT guidebook put out by the College Board, but it could equally well have come from a GRE or GMAT exam, and today we're developing strategies for what I call pick a number. So this strategy involves finding the answer in a creative way if you're stuck or otherwise unsure how to do a problem. This question read, what is the value of 49 plus x squared based on this diagram of a right triangle? And the choices look something like this, 50, 51, 72, 98, or 100. Now, of course, when you see a right triangle on your exam, you should be thinking of one of the most famous theorems from math, the Pythagorean theorem, which states that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where A and B are the two legs of a right triangle, and C is the hypotenuse, the side across from the 90-degree angle. When we take a look at this, one kind of sneaky approach might be to think of numbers that x could equal and maybe just try testing some of those values. For example, x could equal 0, 1, or 2, but a quick inspection shows you that x could not equal 3 or above. The reason there is if I put in 3 for x, I'd have 7 plus 3 along the bottom, that would be 10, and the leg would be as long as the hypotenuse. In fact, in a right triangle, the hypotenuse must always be longer than either of the legs, demonstrating that x could be at most 2 if your answer is an integer. Well, let's go ahead and try each of these values. If x were 0, we'd have 7 for this side and 7 for that side. When I plug those into the formula, I would have 7 squared plus 7 squared. Does it equal the hypotenuse 10 squared? Typing that into your calculator would give you 49 plus 49 or 98, which does not equal 10 squared or 100. Therefore, you know x is not equal to 0. Next, we'll try the number 1 as x. If 1 is the answer, the bottom length is 7 plus 1 or 8. The leg on the left side is 7 minus 1 or 6. I'll test those values by putting them into the Pythagorean theorem formula. Does 8 squared plus 6 squared equal 10 squared? Type it in on your calculator to obtain 64 for 8 squared plus 36 for 6 squared. That will equal 100, which, yes, does equal 10 squared. Therefore, we can infer that x was 1. Let's go back to the question. What is the value of 49 plus 1 squared? 1 squared is, of course, 1 times 1, or just 1, and therefore 49 plus 1 equals 50. Thanks for joining us today. If you're looking to improve your scores on exams like the SAT, GRE, and GMAT, I hope you'll continue to study with me, and I can guide you through all these kinds of sneaky test prep strategies. Today's Pick a Number allows you to choose a temporary number for a variable or an unknown in the problem to arrive at the right answer, even if you don't know how to do the question. And of course, I can also explain to you the official algebra behind it, so you'll have 2 great ways to solve those challenging test exam problems. Thanks for joining me. If you're already logged into a Tutor Talk classroom, please try these next few problems on your own. If you're not, come and visit me on www.tutortalk.org. Hit contact us and write me an email, and I'll set your lesson right up, and you can learn more about probability and practice right along with me or another live tutor. If you happen to live in San Francisco, Bay Area, and want to work with me personally, look me up right here at noevalleytutor.com. Thanks so much.